I love BMW's old F850GS. When it was launched in 2008, it was basically the unicorn of adventure bikes, combining power, relatively low weight and dual sport capabilities in what I think is a pretty good looking package. The fact that BMW barely changed that 798cc parallel twin power plant with its 0-degree offset crank and stroke of 360 for a decade is testament to its success. And while the 800 may not have been as big a hit as the German manufacturer's flagship R1200GS, it certainly had a dedicated fan base here in the UK, and I later learnt out why on a 3,500 mile ride to Morocco and back. What the middleweight GS may have lacked in on-road finesse, it totally made up for on the dirt and dunes. But unfortunately its restricted sibling, the F750GS, was another story altogether. Despite sharing the same engine, it was pretty underpowered and uninspiring. So it was with mixed opinions that I approached the updated models, now the F850 and F750GSs, at launch in Malaga. And I was keen to see whether the 750 had improved, but I was prepared to mourn the end of the Fruity 800, a bike that to my eyes has stood the test of time really well actually. And as it turned out, both were pretty good. Rather than an update, they'd both undergone a complete overhaul, with the chassis being uprated from a tubeless steel frame to a steel bridge type frame, and inside that sat an all-new parallel twin acting as a stressed member. Thanks to revised bore and stroke, its capacity has been up to 853cc, and inside the beating heart of the bike, BMW has introduced a 90-degree offset crank with a new firing order of every 270/450 degrees to be precise, which makes it feel and behave a lot more like the twin that it is. BMW has also dropped the innovative rocking beam balance system used on the old 700 and 800 motor in favour of a more conventional twin balance shaft setup, and there's also a new dry sump lube system. So this unit, built by Chinese firm Lonsin, makes 95 horsepower and 67.9 pound-foot of torque at 6,250 revs. That's in the 850GS. And for the 750, it's exactly the same engine, apart from it's electronically restricted to 77 horsepower and 61.2 pound-foot of torque at 6,000 revs. This character pack motor takes middleweight GS to new heights of refinement. There's so much more power available, which is delivered in a far smoother manner thanks to those new balancer shafts. The 850 is more powerful, faster and sounds a hell of a lot better than its predecessor, thanks to this free revving unit. So it looks like BMW's engineers also gave the gearbox some serious thought too, which resulted in revised ratios. First to third are shorter, which promises and delivers better low-speed acceleration, while fourth to sixth are longer, seriously improving motorway cruising comfort. Now, Triumph does still have the edge over BMW with this, with the shorter first gear on its new Tiger 800. So the GS still felt a little breathless under 2,000 revs, whereas the Tiger 800 has grunt from the get-go. A ride-by-wire throttle goes a long way to bring the bike in line with its competition, improving responsiveness and smooth acceleration. And the GS is also getting an anti-hop clutch, which works to reduce engine drag torque, especially after downshifting, and also makes the clutch lever lighter. Now I did find that this clutch lever seemed to occasionally stick as I go to engage it, but other than that it worked flawlessly. Despite its new chassis, updated looks and shifted forward fuel tank, the F850 maintains its tall, tough, action-ready stance. Relatively long travel inverted forks front up the F850, whereas the 750 wears a right way up pair. While the 850 maintains its nimble, manoeuvrable nature, the revised weight distribution and suspension geometry makes a huge difference when it comes to handling. The bike turns in easier and feels much more stable than the flighty original. Equally off-road, the standing triangle is spot on and the GS feels just as light and chuckable as it does on the tarmac. There's a much more advanced suite of electronics too, with some standard and a lot more optional, which includes an ESA electronic suspension adjustment at the rear with up to 5 riding modes. So as standard, the bikes come with ABS, traction control, 2 riding modes of radar mode and Brembo brakes. But if you pay £1,250 more and opt for the sport model, you get cornering ABS, traction control, BMW's Gear Shift Assistant Pro, heated grips, LEDs and 3 more riding modes of Dynamic, Enduro and Enduro Pro. So Dynamic mode proved to be the Goldilocks option on tarmac, with Rainer mode feeling a tad on the springy side. Larger riders had to set their preload to Rider Plus luggage, however I found the standard setting perfect for my 56 kilograms. Now off-road, Enduro Pro is the one to go for. With ABS only on the front wheel and late to kick in traction control, it acts like a giant dirt bike, albeit with a slight subtle electronic safety net to catch you when talent runs out. Of course, there's tons more optional extras, including BMW's TFT dash with connectivity, cruise control and intelligent emergency call. Now, to my mind, this much technology on a bike is overkill and I personally would never use it. But the system has already proved incredibly popular on the larger 1200 models. So overall, I'm a massive fan of the new F850GS. It's tough, capable and looks downright badass. But it's not for everyone, admittedly, and BMW have acknowledged that, making the 750 much less intimidating, lowering both power and stature and far more manageable on the road. It's miles better than the 700 and would make a very attractive commuter or road-going tourer. Both models come in standard and sport versions, and as I mentioned earlier, there's a £1,250 difference between each. The 850 will set you back from £9,400, that's in the standard version, while the more attainable 750 costs just £7,950. And they're both due in the UK from May, so not long to wait, guys. Now, finally, looks. The 850 has a wicked new look, but you can't help but feel that the rally scheme mimics a certain other adventure model. And as for the 750, I'm not that keen on the shiny monotone panels, but to each their own, and despite being yellow and beaked, it's certainly no ugly duckling.